Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Grace of a Military Child in Life podcast. Military families are not like your traditional family. They are strong, brave, resilient, and some of the most incredible people I know. My name is Gracie, a U.S. Army brat, and I am your host. I am honored to be able to give military family members like myself a place for them to share their stories and experiences in the military life. Stay tuned for this week's guest. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Grace of a Military Child in Life. Today, I'm here with Megan, who is a military spouse, military girlfriend, former military spouse, everything. So, Megan, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I am well awake. My kid decided 6 a.m. bright and early. Let's get the ball rolling and watch dragons. So I'm here.
There you go. We'll kind of start by giving us an overview of your life. You know, you've had so many different roles of the military life. So what has it been like for you?
So my biological father was active duty. He was in the Navy, and then he went National Guard. He got out probably about a year or two after I was born. We moved to Georgia. Big Georgia fan, go dogs. And ended up, we'll agree to disagree. My brother went in. I was in the second grade. He actually came back from his deployment September 11th.
Wow.
So I watched his sub roll in just to turn right back around and go out. So I didn't see my brother for like a solid year, pretty much. Moved out to Washington State. I was 25. A year later, I was married to my now ex-husband. Very, very traditional military love story. We met at a bar. And
very traditional.
He got me with, I have a tramp stamp. And I said, what? It's what it says that really gets me. And I think it's like the best conversation piece ever. Because who can say their ex-husband has a pin and hope all you who enter was a tramp stamp? I don't think very many can. It's pretty funny. And we ended up, we've got a 2-year-old little boy together. He is our triple rainbow baby. We lost him before we had him, and he is the best thing that ever happened to me. We got divorced so we separated when our son was 6.5, 7 months old. Tried to work through things. Apparently that was one-sided. He didn't want to work on it. So we ended up getting divorced last year, and I met my boyfriend, and now we live together and are doing the tag team co-parenting thing and just living life. Spend little time in my world.
Yeah, it's crazy how, things can change so quickly. And I think a military life is just, a glimpse into that of how fast things change. And I mean, you never know what's going to happen every single day.
You don't. I was very used to, my ex-husband was on sea duty for literally 3.5, 4 years. So it was 3 months out. He's gone sometimes for longest, I want to say, was like 5 months. So I was very used to being alone. At that time, we adopted a dog. So I had up until right around when my divorce finalized, my dog passed away after that. But I had a big, massive chow chow husky that, I'm not joking you, biggest wuss. Don't mess with his baby girl. He will come at you. We literally, he loved us. Jackson was his name. He slept with his head on top of my belly and his paw under my belly when I was pregnant. And my kid really loved dogs.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is because the service member is gone so frequently, almost every single military family I meet has some sort of pet, because that's like your little companion. That's like, even some people will say that's like the motivator to, get out of bed, do things every day, because you have another life to take care of, especially when you don't have kids. When you have kids, it's a little different because, they drag you around and they, make you do all of these things. But a dog, it's, it's this thing of, okay, you have to get up, you have to take the dog outside, you have to feed the dog, you have to do all of these things, play with the dog, go for a walk. And that's just, one step closer to, or one motivator to get one step closer in your deployments and your TUI and your sea duty, anything.
Yeah, it definitely, my ex-husband went on he got off sea duty, went on to shore duty, And he had a great job. He was in, they call it the library. Don't ask me what it really is because I don't know. I didn't care enough. We ended up having my son. Keep in mind, my ex-husband was a black lab puppy, 6 months pregnant. That probably should have been the sign, but it's fine. It's fine. Porter's now actually, Porter is the black lab. He's with a retired Navy guy. Takes him dunk hunting every day. He lives on the beach. Like, this dog has the best life.
Oh yeah.
It's the best thing for him. My ex-husband, trigger warning to all of everybody, my ex-husband had an affair. So that started right around, our son was probably 4 months. So I was doing the stay-at-home mom thing, taking care of everything. He didn't have to worry about calling out of work because his son was sick or his son got hurt or this, that, or third. So I was constantly at home. Fast forward to, I walk in, there she is. And I'm like, oh, okay. I just turn around and walk out. I'm like, I'm not gonna touch this with 10 foot pole. Walk out, come back, we talk. I'm like, all right, let's try and work things out. Because obviously something isn't. And I offered therapy. I offered going on a vacation kind of part, like whatever he needed to like get through whatever he was working through. Military, you don't talk about your feelings. You don't talk about what's going on internally. You don't talk about the grind of every day to day that this is going on at work and it's really really rough. And I just need someone who is there and doesn't ask questions. And she happened to be that person. And to this day, I will say she's an absolutely phenomenal person because she loves my son. Like, she has texted to see how he is doing. Because they ended up, after we separated the second time, right after our son turned 1, they got together. They were living together because I kicked him out and I said, you need to ship out. Goodbye. Peace. We can co-parent, but you're not living. Given I'd also practically been a single parent since my son was born. So they were together. They were doing their thing. She'd pick him up. She'd drop him off at daycare. She got him things. She literally rearranged her life for my son. I don't think many people can say that. And recently, I say karma kicked him in the butt or not, whatever it happens, it's life. She left him. My son's godfather's parents, unfortunately, are most likely not even going to make it to Christmas. So, they're his grandparents. My ex-husband is just not having a great 2024. It is just gone into the crapper. And now that she's gone, we have the best co-parenting relationship. Communication is there. It's, hey, this is going on. And he just tells me everything. Why couldn't you do this before?
Yeah, like you said, that's like the hardest thing in military life is like the whole communication factor, whether it's like, really in any aspect. And you're just trained to keep everything inside because you have to have this poker face when you're out of nothing's bothering me, nothing's going to bother me, everything's fine. And then it's hard to flip that switch.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And it's very unfortunate that has turned into, there's a very high suicide rate in the military. A lot of people don't know that. They don't understand that. A friend of ours recently lost a friend on his sub to suicide. We literally had just met this kid. And I say kid, like this kid just turned 21. He's a kid. He got married at 17. And for whatever reason, none of us knew anything was going on. As someone who has depression and anxiety, I didn't even see the signs. We're all having drinks, we're playing cornhole, just having a good time at our house. And a couple days later, oh, it is absolutely wild. And I was like, that, is she okay? I mean, that's a dumb question. Of course she's not okay, but like, does she need anything? And this girl literally packed her apartment, moved back to her family's house, and she had made a post on Facebook at, I never imagined at 17 getting married. I also never imagined at 21 being a widow. So I'm like, I'm going to go take a shower because I'm going to go cry now. It's like, I'm not scared to show my emotions, but I don't cry in front of people. It makes people uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm going to cry more because everybody's just uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's wild. I wish people would understand, like, especially men. It is okay to talk about your feelings. It's fine. I have to give myself some grace because I don't always do it. But I turn it around into a positive and I deep clean the house. And that one's a wild one with, a toddler. Because a toddler wants to with his mom. She's like, can you please keep your dinosaurs over here so I can mop?
Right. Yeah, it's just
He's a wild
something
one.
that it's something that you have to realize. And it's that you don't necessarily you wouldn't think of it because you see the military, you see the community that we have, literally like a brother and sisterhood, and you don't necessarily think of the worst things that could happen because we have such a tight bond between everyone. But then those are the moments that it's like, okay, you might not see the warning signs because you're so good at hiding it. But then, it's 22 a day that, lose their lives because of, the trauma of military life, the things they've seen, the things that have happened, to their close friends. And you never know. But it's so hard at the same time to get into someone's mind and be like, hey, what's really going on?
Yeah. And I think also on the like other end of it is like I was open about, I had 3 miscarriages before I had my son. I literally looked my ex-husband in the face and said, if he does not stick, I'm done. Like I can't go through this again. The support we got from the boat was phenomenal. Like I literally call and I can't tell you how many wives would drop by food or be like, hey, let's go out and go shopping or do this. And I'm like, you think I want to leave my bed right now? Because I don't. This pillow is my emotional support pillow. But the support we got from that, and it's like we're a couple going through another miscarriage, and we got that support. But imagine the support you would get from someone with, I'm really struggling right now mentally because I'm away from my spouse for months on end. I don't get to talk to them because they go dark. And you don't hear from them. My first appointment, I didn't hear from my ex-husband until probably 3 weeks till he got home.
It's
And
not
it's
uncommon.
absolutely crazy. And I'm dating someone who's attached to his circus ship. And it's like, oh, I could be gone for 10 months. I mean, he's on shore duty, so he lives the bougie life. Goes to work at 7, is home by like 10 while I'm working my booty off. But he's like, I could be gone for 10 months. And I'm like, cool, bye. I have family on the East Coast. I can go visit them when I want because we're moving next year back to the East Coast and the North End of the Chick-fil-A and Waffle House.
Right?
I'm really excited for Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
It's a 45-minute drive to get Chick-fil-A.
Gosh, I would not survive.
I don't know. I've done this for 7 years.
Yeah, I don't know how I would survive.
My cousin was closer to Chick-fil-A. Like sitting him on the toes, like get me Chick-fil-A before you get to the boat.
Right?
So it got me Chick-fil-A. It was great. It was phenomenal.
Yes. No, absolutely. And like that's the hardest thing is you don't know where you're living. And it's, when I lived in Texas, we got such good Mexican food, such good like Tex-Mex, and oh my gosh, everything. And now it's like, okay, well, I want Taco Cabana, I want barbecue, or I just want some good queso. And yeah, no.
Yeah,
it's like I cannot just go back.
Unless you know a good Hispanic that can make it authentically.
Right.
Like there was my ex-husband's boss when I was pregnant literally kept me fed and happy my entire pregnancy. One of the grandmas in the little command about called it a unit, the command, literally made homemade tamales.
I love those.
I was like, I'm divorcing you for her. I love Mexican food.
Yes. And
You
it's
can't find that here.
so
Or brisket.
good homemade tamales. Like, oh my gosh. I made some with a family last year, and it was so much fun, but it was so much work that goes into them.
There's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's wild. Like you do what to make this?
I know.
Thank you for taking 3 years of your life. You're like,
Yeah.
Chipotle just came out with a brisket, and I just looked at my boyfriend and I was like, "You do realize, hey, I'm from Georgia. My ex-husband's from Texas. I'm very picky about my barbecue."
Yeah.
I like took a bite and I'm like, "Told them this was a good brisket because it's hot."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my son's like digging through my Chipotle bowl, getting the brisket. And I'm like, "Glad I'm not hungry. Glad I am not hungry. Thank you."
Yeah, exactly. Because you really, I mean, you get spoiled by different foods, moving around and getting the authentic food. You get spoiled, and it's hard to replace that because you want very specific. Like, there's days that I just want sopapillas from Taco Cabana, and it's like fast food restaurant in Texas, but it's only in, that Texas region. And it's like, I can't, what do I do? Like, I can't fly to Texas right now, get a sopapilla, and come home.
I shouldn't.
I mean,
You
I
shouldn't.
can, but I shouldn't.
Exactly. Like now
That
you're going off.
sopapilla would
You have
cost a lot more.
it would be worth it.
It would be. It would be so worth
But then you look at your bank account and
it.
like that Kevin Hart little snippet where he's like, "See what my bank account says."
Yeah.
And I like think that when I like see something ridiculously something, I really want that. Like right
Right?
now, I want a robot vacuum.
Yeah.
I really want one, so we're searching. We're waiting for a good deal. I'm like, I was like, "Babe, look, Target has a sale." It's still $300. Shut up.
That's
About
insanely expensive.
300, 400. Okay, leave me alone.
It's a good deal, I promise.
Mm-hmm. What I tell him all the time. It's a good deal. But
Yeah.
he's like super handy, very much a fix-it man. He bought a camper completely, has redone the floor, and he has to fix the wall on it. So he's doing that. This is about to sound really crazy. I promise it's true because I was there. He bought a 2017 Ford Fusion for $100.
God.
It just blew. So we just dropped 3 grand on this floor on an engine. This is gonna be worth it. This is gonna be worth it. This is good.
So you just
But I
gotta
have
keep
like
reminding yourself.
back of my head. Oh, gotcha.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny. But yeah, military life is like, the craziest thing on earth. You do so many things, explore so many places. Um, so the last thing I want to ask you is, what is one piece of advice you would give to another military spouse?
I think being in it, give your give yourself some grace. You are making it. It is okay to be frustrated and crying and angry. There's a pillow. Don't punch the wall because you have to pay to fix that.
Exactly.
Unless you have no boyfriend, but I don't share. Being on the outside, like being an ex-military spouse, that one's rough. I think also it's like give yourself some grace. Like if there are kids involved, it is not about you anymore. It is about those kids. Like you've got to put those kids first. It's rough some days. We're currently dealing with that situation with my boyfriend. Like just give yourself some grace. You've got a bunch of weird cool crap going on in your life. Just we've got the kids. They're fine. They're safe. You ain't got to worry about them. Go get your stuff handled. Remember, you can be angry with me. I don't care. You ain't gotta like me, boo boo. That's fine. I ain't the one with the jail record, but that's fine. It's a whole funny story. She got arrested. She had both kids. I say both. They're teenagers. They're 17 and 14. She had both of them and got arrested.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. When I say like it's my co-parenting relationship's great. There's not an issue. This one has this one like get the Mexican abuela.
yeah.
It's touch and go. Some days, like I sent her a picture of the boys on the first day of school, and she's like blowing my boyfriend's phone up, and I'm like, no, you're the one that's stalking me. I'm not stalking you. I don't care. Like, and then I have to like remember that snippet of like give it some grace and just move on. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just it is. And people look at me crazy when I'm like, yeah, I've got 3 kids. I've got 2 teenagers and a toddler. And I was what? Like, I birthed one. I birthed one, but I have 3 kids. And seeing us all out in public, people are like, oh, someone was a surprise. Nope. Not one. I mean, one. Yeah, but no, it's a wild ride in here to say for sure. And it is the best ride. I'm like very ADD and ADHD. I can't do the same mundane task
Right.
day in, day out. And here I am. I have an office job. I'm going back to school to get my bachelor's because why not?
Exactly.
I am mentally unstable. How do you know this? The mercury is constantly in the lemonade with me. So you just survive. Then there's Shelby who's like, hey, so this happened. And I'm like, Murphy's Law, get ready. Great ready. Fun time over here. But it is interesting to like, I mean, Brett is Air Force, Nick is Navy. And that's all I know. And I'm like, I don't know nothing about the Air Force. I can tell you about the Navy. Like, I've got a ball that we're going to. Because it's Chiefs Select season. Coffee. Lots of coffee. But it's a whole wild time.
Yes.
Also, I don't know who starts the TRICARE insurance crap, but me and you need to have a conversation about covering fertility costs because that crap is expensive.
It is. Yes. TRICARE is just a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm. But there is a company, I can't remember the name of it. There is a company in New Jersey, shockingly, that former military couple, they will cover one free round of IVF for military families.
Wow. That's incredible.
And I was like looking it up as I was like apparently pregnant at the time, didn't know. I was like, right, what do I have to do? Because I really wanted kids. Like I wanted multiple. By multiple, two. My ex-husband looked at me and said 4. And I said, you push 2 out. Well, let me know how that goes. I ended up having a C-section and chest kiss.
Yes.
Phenomenal. 10 out of 10, highly suggest if you have children, C-sections without laboring. That's the trick. Don't
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing, your experience with military life.
It is a wild ride. It is a fun one. I absolutely enjoy it. And just, I can't wait to see where you go in life. I'm super excited about that. I think I probably cried more than you probably cried, and your mom probably cried. Like, I'm going to go in.
Thank you for listening to Grace of a Military Child and Life podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like, follow, and comment. Also, be sure to check out Instagram and Facebook at Grace of a Military Child and Life for more awesome content. For information on the podcast, Military Child Bigs and Littles, Go AMCL blog, or other resources, visit www.goamcl.org. You can also email me at Gracie, that's GRACIE @GOAMCL.org with any questions or comments. To be a guest on the podcast, you can schedule it at www.goamcl.org/schedule a podcast, all one word, or contact me via social media or email. Stay tuned for the next episode where another incredible story is shared.